Hello, Antonio Tambornino here, again, with my review of Return to Oz. A star-filled night populates the screen as the camera pulls away to show us the view through a mirror, and the young Dorothy Gale is lying wide awake in her room as a shooting star passes by, grabbing her attention, and, effectively, ours as well. One would not at first associate a movie with a title that includes the word Oz as a movie that would be relevant to the season of Halloween. And yet, Return to Oz is a movie that turns that convention on its head. At first viewing, Return to Oz also does something that would make many forget that it is in fact a Disney film. Or to be more precise, a film distributed by Walt Disney Pictures. What makes many forget Return to Oz as a Disney flick is its strict adherence to the source material, making for a more gritty film than most would associate with either a Disney flick or an Oz flick. Released in 1985 to mixed reviews, Return to Oz was and remains an avenue of Disney that opened and closed. And with good reason. The movie was a flop, costing more than $25 million to make and making less than half that at the box office, and most simply don't understand it. Directed by Walter Murch and produced by Gary Kurtz, Return to Oz is a work of cinema genius. And not on the level of The Godfather, Apocalypse Now, The Dark Knight, Back to the Future, or Star Wars, or a Spielberg film. The list goes on with that one, folks. But instead embraces other storytelling tropes that made the book so beloved. Admittedly not by your humble reviewer, and translates those same tropes beautifully to a more visual medium. Return to Oz is highly imaginative and practically explodes with color. The bright emeralds, the rusted copper tones, the brilliant golds, the sharp blacks, the dull grays, and stark whites, throughout, make for a spellbinding feature that is only complemented expertly by a score both rhythmically and emotionally. For all us John Williams fans out there, the score for Return to Oz makes for a fun alternative. What may catch most by surprise today is the special effects, which don't look near as hilarious as they did in, say, Battle of the Bulge, but actually look rather impressive, especially considering they came out only a couple years after Return of the Jedi, which is also a shame as it makes for an excellent, family-friendly fall Halloween soundtrack, making for a good Halloween flick. All this aside, what had many scratching their heads upon first viewing this was the age of the main protagonist. Dorothy is famously a young adult in a 1939 classic. So why is she so young in the quasi-pre-sequel? Return to Oz never seems to provide an explanation. But the spirit of this delightfully fun film lets us forget that as we journey with Dorothy and her pals through the newer Land of Oz. There's a talking chicken that seems to turn up out of nowhere. And once again on the music, many remember the 1939 classic as a musical from MGM. It seemed to some as though Return to Oz simply abandoned that same spirit that made The Wizard of Oz a classic in favor of something that, oddly enough, people have yet to embrace. The Wizard of Oz was musical with song and dance, and its sequel was equally as musical, though in a different style that still takes many by surprise. Your humble reviewer grew up with both, but preferred Return to Oz for its lack of songs and dances that I personally felt seemed a bit random in the 1939 original. I was born in 1990 in case anyone is wondering. Did I mention this movie is imaginative? The first creatures that turn up in Oz right after Dorothy's arrival are creatures that have wheels instead of hands and feet, and they behave like a biker gang. Again, I mentioned the talking chicken, who ends up being a savior to all. A wind-up golden soldier called Tick-Tock, who serves Oz as its army, who acts awfully alive for something that isn't. And these creatures aren't even the most wild aspects of the film. There's also Princess Mumby, the woman with a bad temper and interchangeable heads. Upon Dorothy's arrival, something strange happens. The rocks in Oz spy on her, and that's as much as I'm going to tell you about that aspect of the film. An aspect that adds an interesting, mystifying, spooky, spine-tingling atmosphere to this wonderful film that few except for the best Halloween movies can provide. It might seem self-evident by now, but I give The Return to Oz 4 out of 5 stars. In a country that continues to market to a younger crowd, Return to Oz is underrated and underappreciated. It might get weird in places, but Return to Oz is a sure joy to watch. And once you get past Dorothy's age, you will find that this movie is one you won't just want to watch more than once. You'll even try to get your kids to watch it with you. I do hope that you enjoy the movie. I thank you very much for your time, and please have an awesome day.